to be able to go to a place so remote that so few people get to visit. A place that, despite its remoteness, has global significance as an ocean sanctuary, an ocean wilderness that feeds the health of those areas that are closer to humanity and more exploited. It was a bit of a whirlwind and so many rich experiences in such a relatively short space of time. 2 weeks flew by. Force Blue has the privilege of a tour of duty of all the National Marine Sanctuaries of the United States, which is going to help with the research and conservation of those sanctuaries. So we're really a manpower multiplier.
This really is an important expedition for the sanctuary here because it's been years and years since there's been an expedition dedicated to maritime archaeology. So we're fully documenting not just the sites that we visit, but the whole process of visiting the sites with the aim of telling the story to the public and sharing this beautiful place, whether it's the cultural resources, those archaeological sites, or the natural resources like the amazing coral reefs we've been able to see.
We're able to use state-of-the-art diving equipment to enhance the mission, to help with archaeology, to help with the communications mission by getting good quality footage that can help tell people about this site that so few people get to visit.
Visiting the waters up here, you kind of feel like there's something bigger than yourself. There is a spiritual feeling out here. We will chant an oli to start our day, know what our intentions are for the day, ask for permission into these places.
National Marine Sanctuaries are our country's underwater treasures. With our recent designations, we're at 18 National Marine Sanctuaries across the country. Papahānaumokuākea is a place that is vast and large and mostly unexplored and far away from the average American public.
We have 360 cameras with the goal of creating virtual reality experiences that will allow people to see the wonder, the animals, the alua, the sharks, the reefscapes that are just really awe-inspiring.
It's cool to be able to bring new technology that helps you see things in a different way. But underwater, measuring coral reefs, if you do a model like this, obviously corals are structure building animals, and you can then come back to the same spots 5-10 years time and do another model measuring the effects of a changing climate, storm damage, ocean acidification on coral growth rates. If you can create a way of measuring change over time, it helps you a lot with your research.
So the Mega Lab helps Papahānaumokuākea with their coral health assessments out here. We do photogrammetry, which is a series of overlapping images, and we use the 3D models that we create to study the coral species, the growth, the amount of species, and how that correlates with the fish populations out here. Which is exciting because you can take that knowledge and share that with people who have restoration questions, maybe trying to mitigate damage back in the main Hawaiian Islands. So we learned a lot from our Kapuna Islands, and then we try to manage them the best we can, keep them protected, and bring that knowledge back with us.
You have to keep your straight line while taking photos. So you're really power kicking and trying to stay straight and stable. What you see here are these little blue squares, and these are every single photo that I took underwater, in which gives us our 3D structure. And these allow us to scale our models so that we're able to measure down to a centimeter or less for each coral.
started the day with the wreck of the Two Brothers, which is Captain Pollard's second boat that he ran aground. A lot of bricks from their old ovens that they boil up the whale blubber on. It was his experiences that inspired Herman Melville, who wrote Moby Dick. And Captain Pollard's first boat, the Essex, was actually sunk by a large sperm whale.
So we are building upon decades of maritime archaeological expeditions here in the northwestern Hawaiian Islands. But there's also other sites that were recently discovered. One by the Polynesian Voyaging Society. Back in June of 2021, they came across an anchor and a windlass. We've got at least 3 dives here at the site of the unknown shipwreck site. And there's been some documentation already, but we're going to add to that documentation and maybe even fill in some gaps and take a closer look both at the artifacts so we can compare these previous models done.
We're about to go to Hikianalia Reef and return for the first time for me for 4 years to the reef where we found a wreck. This place is a place where culture and nature combine.
We'll record the anchor using slates and pencils, and then we'll move into the photo modeling and the 360 video. I think this is going to be a really neat site to bring to people.
Terence has been doing some incredible field drawings underwater, no less. Tactical skills from his military side coming into play, which are going to be really useful in tracking down and identifying what the wrecks actually are.
It's a very shallow site with a lot of surge in it. So the key is to try to find a static position that you can then take measurements and draw and make sketches of these particular artifacts. But this is an overhead view of a anchor windlass with measurements drawn here and there. And then of course this is a beautiful red portside navigation lantern.
The drawings and the photo models that John and Kylie did are going to be a great complement to really share this with others to see if we can get a little bit more intel on what this site was.
All the rectangles are the tracks that Kylie swam, and then all the spheres are the tracks that I swam. What I hope we've managed to do in combining the 360 into the models is actually give a greater coverage of the long-term monitoring sites, get a little bit more of the rugosity, I think is the term for it. Far more little nooks and crannies for cryptic life to live in, for little fish to hide in, for corals to propagate and grow from.
The bigger the model, the better, really. We've built new relationships with different reefs out here. I hit multiple long-term monitoring sites. We hit multiple wreck sites. And this is going to be really great for Papahānaumokuākea managers.
The wilderness of the ocean, the prolific life of the ocean. If you overuse it, you wreck it. There's no use to anyone, and you spoil it for future generations. If you set aside areas like the marine sanctuaries and really look after it carefully, it allows the rest of the ocean to generate enough to help out what man wants, fishing, extractive industries and so on.
These areas need to be left aside. We've got to start being stewards rather than hunters and gatherers.
I feel like it was a privilege to be out there with the people that we were out there with, experiencing the place. And I really hope that the stories that get told highlights the importance and just the significance of Papahānaumokuākea National Marine Sanctuary. What a spectacular place.